Right guys, I know you love a juicy bit of revenge, so here's one from r/MaliciousCompliance, posted by you/lilithcirce. Tiny bit of pertinent information. In 2014, I had a C-section to bring my son into the world. I was just let go by my previous job because they didn't want the liability of something happening to a pregnant woman on the job. I was rehired by the fast food company where I held my first job. It's not McDonald's, it's a bit higher priced than that, where you'd get fried chicken, a hot dog, and a double cheeseburger at the same time. There will be no mention of the child's father because, well, he wasn't there for us. I lived with my eldest sister, who was more like a mum to me, which is why she is mentioned in this story. She was the person I had with me when I had my C-section. She has been the one that's been there for my son every moment of his life. My doctor said that if I was going back to work before his recommended 4 to 6 weeks of healing time and rest, that I had to be on very light duty, and that I was not to lift more than the weight of my son, which was about 6 pounds at the time. So, the story. I was rehired by a fast food company that was always extremely busy at each major point in the day. Lunch made over $800 between noon and 1 p.m, and dinner made over $700 from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Of note, the only reason I was rehired was because the hiring manager loved me to pieces. When I left the first time, she told me I always had a job with her because she just loved my work ethic. She said I was the best worker she had had in years. Nobody else ever picked up extra shifts as quickly as I did. Nobody cared to learn as fast as I did. So since I had previous experience, they wanted me to work lunch rush, but I begged them to let me work dinner instead. You see, dinner would allow me to spend quality time with my newborn, and my sister, who I lived with, would be home from her job to take care of my son while I worked. Now, I started a month after my C-section, right? Wrong. I started 2.5 weeks later. If I didn't, I couldn't be hired. I'd actually gone back to my doctor and asked his office to write a full letter explaining in detail my light duty requirements, and took it with me the first day back. So I walk into the manager's office expecting to see my hiring manager, or at least a manager I recognized. No, enter stupid manager, who had worked as an hourly employee in another location and now thought she was better than everyone. I handed stupid manager my doctor's note, and she looked at it like she was holding a dirty baby diaper. I asked her to make sure hiring manager sees it, and she doesn't respond. Well, I shrug it off and walked to the back where the break room was. I saw that all my co-workers were the same from the last time I worked there, and they all crowded around me to see baby photos. I was crying the entire time because honestly it felt like a homecoming. It felt like I was finally surrounded by some sort of support system. Until stupid manager screamed that we needed to get to work, when there wasn't even a customer in the store. We all scattered like flies and made ourselves look busy. Now, I'd kept my phone in my pocket before clocking in, and I periodically checked it, always between customers, to make sure that nothing had happened to my son while I was gone. Now, I would think that most managers, maybe not all, but most managers would have understood that I'm not texting and slacking off or playing Angry Birds. I'm just quickly checking to see if there's any notifications. But no, not stupid manager. She hated it. She'd been sitting in her office, checking the cameras, and I suppose I'd checked my phone one too many times. Yay for postpartum depression and anxiety, I guess. Well, stupid manager came flying around the corner at the speed of light. Hazel, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You can't be on your phone while you're clocked in. You should know this already. Now, I'd never been one to deal well with being yelled at, so I just said I was sorry. And some of my co-workers stood up for me, which made me cry again. Stupid manager, apparently, also hates crying. So she turned to me, shooting the same daggers into my soul. Well, what the fuck are you crying about now? Thankfully, a customer walked in, so she just stormed off. I saw red. Within the hour, I watched her start to get ready to leave her shift, which I thought was a blessing. Of course, it wasn't. Enter Lazy Manager, who I'd had issues with the last time I'd worked there. Not that I said anything, but she never worked. She sat in the office staring at the cameras, eating food from the line, which, by the way, is against company policy. You don't get free food, you get a discount on food. Did she pay for it? No, not once. She just wrote it off as wastage at the end of the day, as throwaway or whatever you call it. Lazy Manager saw me, and her face fell. "Oh, hey Hazel," she said with disdain. I put on the sweetest smile and attempted to make small talk with Stupid Manager, but they made a major mistake. They left the door open a crack, and wouldn't you know it, I worked on the other side of that door, pretty close, and I could hear everything. Absolutely everything, they said, and this is how it went. I thought hiring manager told her no. I guess not. She's been on the phone all day. Of course she has. She's the worst employee we've ever had. Ugh. I'll call the hiring manager and figure this out. I've never disliked someone like I dislike her. Oh, she seems pretty lazy. Oh, here's her pitiful doctor's note. Oh, we'll see how that works. It's not like we've never had kids before. Now that fully pissed me off, but I bit my tongue. I waited for what I knew was coming. I knew exactly what I was going to do because I was just plain sick of being badmouthed by others. So Stupid Manager leaves and Lazy Manager calls me to the office. I was in the middle of making an order, but she is the manager after all, so I left that poor person's order sitting right on the line and walked to the office. "Yes, Lazy Manager?" She doesn't even look up from her computer. "Hazel, what's this doctor's note for?" I just take my phone out of my pocket and try to show her pictures of my son. "Oh, you had a kid," in that tone, implied nobody would want to be with me or something. I smile sweetly and nod. A plan working itself out in my head. Fast forward 4 days. Lazy Manager hasn't been helping us close the store at all, and I've been getting home after 2 a.m. every day from a place that closes at 10 on weekdays, 11 on weekends. I am done. My sister can't keep taking care of my child like this, and it is completely unfair. Lazy Manager is working again, and we're all really busy. I go to put fries in the fryer because our fry cook is busy making chicken tenders. I open the little freezer beside the fryer and it's empty, which I knew it would be because I never saw anyone put a new box in there. Huh. Well, that sucks. "Hey, we're out of fries out here," I yell. No response. "Hey, co-workers, fry cook is busy and we need fries out here." Nothing. Odd. Oh well. "Hey, Lazy Manager, we need fries out here." Lazy Manager opens the office door. "Well, get them yourself, Hazel." I walk over to the office. "Lazy Manager, I can't. My doctor said I can't lift more than 6 pounds. Lazy Manager rolls her eyes and looks dead at me. "Look, go get the damn fries out of the freezer now. 2 boxes. I don't care about this 'my doctor said' shit. Do it and stay the hell off your phone." And there it was. My opportunity for malicious compliance. I walked into the freezer and looked at the box of French fries. I really shouldn't. This could be detrimental to my health, according to my doctor. But no. Lazy Manager said so. Now, I'd noticed that morning that a couple of my stitches hadn't started dissolving yet, so I'd already called and scheduled an appointment about 2 weeks early. This just was all lining up so perfectly. I grabbed that fry box on the bottom shelf and shifted it where I could read its weight. I wasn't supposed to be on my phone, but she obviously couldn't see me in the freezer. I snapped a picture of the box, sent it to my sister with the message, "Manager told me I had no choice but to do this myself. Doesn't believe my doctor's note at all." Can't respond, she won't let me use my phone anymore either. Now I made sure the message was sent and then switched my phone off, grabbed that fry box and lifted it and carried it to the little freezer 20 feet away. I'll say one thing for adrenaline. It definitely works to numb pain until it wears off. I felt a wetness in my pants and excused myself to the break room. Not the bathroom. No, that was too private for this. I turned to where the cameras could see me and looked in my pants. Blood. I was bleeding. But from where? Oh, that's right, the stitches that hadn't started healing yet. But there was another pain I'd never experienced. I walked into Lazy Manager with a napkin covered in blood. Thankfully, the line wasn't anywhere near the office. I would never have contaminated someone's food like that. Because I was unable to stop the bleeding, I was immediately sent home to my sister, who was in a severe panic already over the message. I called my doctor's office within 10 minutes to spare and explained the situation, and was scheduled for the following day. And I was told to go to the hospital if the bleeding continued. My sister and I bandaged me up to the best of our abilities, and I waited for my appointment. When the doctor found out why I still picked up that fry box, he sounded more like a concerned father figure when he said, "I'll handle this." But I assured him I had it myself. All I needed from him was a doctor's note. You see, I'd found out that hiring manager, who was also the store manager, who was lined up to become district manager, had come back from vacation. She was actually scheduled for the following day that I was supposed to work. I waddled into the store in uniform, doctor's note clutched in one hand, the other grabbing every solid surface it could to absorb some of the shock of movement. She took one look at me and guided me to a chair in the break room, concern written all over her face. "Hazel, what happened?" So I told her everything. She asked me if I gave either manager a doctor's note, and I said I had. She couldn't find it, but she didn't need to. What Lazy Manager and Stupid Manager didn't know was that my sister had a printer that could scan documents, and we had a weird feeling that we would need a copy of the first doctor's note. So not only did I have a new note clutched in hand, but stapled to it was a copy of the original note that told the managers that I was supposed to be on light duty, because if I ripped a stitch, it could lengthen my healing process. The new note explained that since I was not given light duty, I not only ripped a stitch but pulled a few muscles in my lower body. When hiring manager read both notes, she was furious. She checked the schedule, and when she saw neither of the other managers were working, she called them both in for a meeting. She asked me if I would stay for said meeting and that I could sit in the office in her comfy desk chair while we waited. I took that seat and waited for the show. 30 minutes later, hiring manager was giving them an earful, telling them that they had no right to disregard doctor's orders and that they should never have told me to stop being on my phone. Turns out hiring manager had worked for this establishment when she had her youngest child, so she knew the anxiety of being away from a newborn for too long. I watched Stupid Manager get fired on the spot. But not Lazy Manager. Lazy Manager was demoted to line cook because hiring manager told her she needed to relearn some humility. She worked as a line cook at another store for about a month and was then fired for stealing food. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, we've always got more for you. We know it's addictive. The first one's free and then we get you hooked. Check out this video right here. I'm sure you'll love it. Head over there now and I'll see you there.